Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I'm happy to be here with you today to share with you my stitching, some things I've worked on mostly this time, some older finishes, and a focus on one of my favorite designers, Barbara Anna. I also had some Christmas WIPS I have coming up that I'm going to be working on that I wanted to share just kind of as a starting point. I missed making a Christmas video last year, so I hope to make a couple throughout the next couple months. And I've missed talking with you and interacting with you, so I didn't want too much time to get by before I stopped in and made a video. So thank you for being patient with me and checking in to see what I'm up to. I wanted to ask a couple of things. I have two sick kiddos today, two girls that are not feeling well. So if you hear one coughing, that's my youngest, but also my second daughter is away at school and she had to go to the doctor and get a steroid and get a new inhaler. So being apart from her for the first time, it's her freshman year, I have a lot of anxiety about her asthma. So if you would pray for Sophia and Anastasia, I would appreciate that. And also our Flosstube friend, Lori Schickalone from Once Upon a Stitch, has been on my heart a lot, just weeping alongside of her for losing her grandbaby. So if you would remember Lori, maybe go over to her channel and send her well wish and let her know we're thinking about her and lift her family up in prayer. That's just such a hurtful thing and a terrible loss. So that said, let me give you a quick update on what I have been working on. Like I said, I've not been stitching a ton, but I wanted to show you where I've gotten to on my Adam and Eve project for 2023, A&E for 2023. I think I'll get 3 out of 4 finished that I hoped for, but I don't want to call that just yet. I've been working on my heartstring samplery piece called Permit Me Not to Stray. It's not that big, but the 1/1 stitching is giving me a little bit of a hard time, so I wanted to just give you an update. I'm almost done with the border, and I have done quite a bit on it since last we visited about it. I have just a little bit more in the corner there, and unfortunately, let me see if this is showing through. This linen is pretty thin. It's Winter Moon, 36 count. Unfortunately, I am half a stitch off on the bottom. I realized it when I counted. I was knowing I needed to be 4 stitches from that bottom line. And as I went to count, I'm 3.5. So I'm gonna fudge it. I am not ripping out. I can't even find the mistake. It's somewhere here and I cannot find it. So it's gonna stay as is. I'm not stitching backwards, only forwards. And I think it's gonna be fine. But the feather border is pretty fun. It gets kind of in a rhythm. It has the red center, which I still need to add, but I've been counting and getting that done. I just need Eve and to finish a few leaves and vines. And then this is what I've been working on. It's so funny how this little bit of progress takes so long. I try so carefully to use really good lighting, get really, really close, and then just take my time. I stitch in hand, and so stabbing and poking is irritating to me a little bit, but it does lay better, the 1/1 when I do the stab and poke. I don't put it in a hoop, but I just complete each stitch like this instead of doing the sewing method. So sometimes I can get away with the sewing method, but these letters in particular are sort of hard to distinguish if they're not laying right. The word becomes obscured. I can maybe get away with it on like a bird or something else. And I think there is an over one animal, but I can't remember for sure. It may just be the lettering, which is plenty. So I need to finish that angel and just keep working on the border. But I hope to have that done soon. I do have the frame for it, so I was happy to see the end in sight on that one. And then I did not work on my merfolk because I'm still kind of irritated with that one. So I took a little bit of a break, but I started my 4th A&E for the year, Adam and Eve, and that was Rampant Cats sampler. I've wanted to do Rampant Cats sampler for several years, and this is going to kind of segue into my Barbara Anna focus. I wanted to show you some finishes I have, realizing just how many of her pieces I have stitched. I love her color sense. I love her fun design, and I can't find the cover letter for my Barbara Anna. All I can find is the pattern. I don't want to show you that, but I can kind of give you a quick glimpse. And I have it folded. I'll explain why. When I was stitching my Rampant Cats, I thought I had enough fabric on the edge of my Ghoul-Tide Welcome piece. And I showed you this. I was going to plot it out and make sure, but I thought, oh yeah, it'll fit on the edge of Ghoul-Tide. Well, I went ahead and snaked over on, I always do this upside down. Here's the top. I went ahead and snaked over all the way to where this piece turns and realized there's no way. There's just a little tiny bit left of this. I think it's called Days Gone By, and I think it's a silk weaver. I couldn't remember last time, but I'm pretty sure it's a silk weaver fabric. I really wanted it for Rampant Cats as well as Ghoul-Tide, but it's just going to work for Ghoul-Tide, so that's okay. I went ahead and dyed my own fabric for Rampant Cats, and unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to pause the video because Rampant Cats is not in the bag where it's supposed to be. So let me get that real quick. Oh, I lied. It is. It's here. I dyed this fabric myself. It's a 28 count even weave by Hobby Lobby. I'd rather have a linen probably, but beggars can't be choosers. It's just what I had. I kind of did this. That's showing up pretty well in this light. I kind of did this overwash of orange and camel, and then I used instant coffee. So I've gotten pretty far on the piece. There's the top, but my Rampant Cats is going to look different from what Barbara Anna intended. Sorry, it's kind of hard to show. When I started this, I just, what is the word? Pride cometh before a fall. Speaking of Adam and Eve in the fall. I thought, oh yeah, I've got plenty of room. Somehow I thought this piece was so much smaller than it is. And so I was just, confidently stitching along and realizing, oh my gosh, I am going to run out of room. I had already done Adam. I'd already done all of that bottom and the tree. And then I started to snake up the side and realize I'm running out of room. And so what I had to do is eliminate one of these keys and just start, I wish I could show you the pattern. I might put a picture of it beside here, what it's actually gonna look like if you stitch it as charted. But I eliminated one key, which was about 22, 23 stitches. So I wasn't even close. I was definitely gonna run out of room. I thought about piecing it together. I have one piece that I will do that on, but I think it would have been too disjointed with this particular design. So I just decided I'm gonna call an audible and switch it over. So I think it still looks pretty. And the best part about it was it's actually going to fit in a 12 by 12 frame now. I believe if you stitch it as charted, especially on 28 count, you would need closer to like a 12 by 14, not a regular size frame. So this way I can use the same 12 by 12 as I'm using for Permit Me Not to Stray, and I'll have a better match set. They're going up my stairway together anyway, so it was kind of a serendipitous thing, kind of a happy accident. I love all the colors. It's just so quirky and fun, which is my favorite thing about Barbara Anna, and I love the flowers. So I hope to continue and finish this. I need to do this other side and Adam, or Eve. Why is it I always do Adam first? I don't know. But I've got a little more of her skirt, and then the top of this, I'm in a little bit of a conundrum, and hopefully I'll have a decision soon, but there is a beautiful berry basket, and I'll just show you just a little corner. There's a berry basket and then this kind of star design, and I'm gonna just do one of these. So I don't know if I'll move the berry basket down. It's a little bit big, but I think I prefer it to the other motif. So I'm only going to use one, but we'll see. I have to get it. What I'm going to do is do the entire thing and just try to balance it. I'll have to count carefully and make sure it's centered on both sides, but I think it's still going to be really cute. And I will put the year at the top, but I'm not going to put, see, I folded the pattern down to show this is how little I had left over. So I'm not going to put All Hallows Eve. I'm going to put the year 2023 probably, and then put it in a 12 by 12 that matches the other one. So there's the two Adam and Eves I've been working on. I finished that little top of Ghoul Tide, but that just took me a couple, one evening maybe, not even. And then I'm hoping to finish the two Adam and Eves that I showed you, and maybe Merfolk if I'm lucky. But I wanted to kind of move into some previous finishes since I don't have a finish to show you. Actually, I do have one, and I will insert a video to one side. I was showing you a lace doily that my brother sent me from Oklahoma. It was at my parents' house, and my grandma Helen had crocheted this. It was going into a garage sale pile. So Randy, my brother, texted me, do you want this? And I said, of course. I don't want to see any of grandma's handiwork go into a garage sale. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with it? I don't really put doilies on tables anymore. I have cats and my kids are messy. So I decided to make it into a curtain, and it was tricky to figure out. I have a magnetic rod on my back door. It's a metal, back door, and I knew too much weight would probably slide it off. And so I didn't want to make it like lots of layers of fabric, but I laid it out 2 or 3 different times and finally just did some top stitching on the curtain with the homespun I have on all the other windows, and then some muslin to back it. So from the back, it's solid muslin. It doesn't look patchy, which I kind of like. And then from the front, of course, it's very patchy, which is my favorite style. I love things that are upcycled or, modified in some way so that they're unique and no one else has one like it. And that's definitely this curtain. It's not everybody's taste. I understand it might look a little bit craftsy, but I just enjoy seeing my grandma's handiwork. And then I have a really muddy backyard right now, so it blocks that view as well. So that curtain was my only finish since my last video, other than the work that I got done to start and pretty good progress on Rampant Cat's sampler. But because I was thinking of Barbara Anna, I don't know how long it's been since I've shown, sorry if I'm shaking the camera, I need to be still. I found a different spot to film because my like I said, my daughter's not feeling well and she's coughing, and then it's kind of busy in our house. It's hard to find a time. So I'm on my bed. As you can tell, that's my husband and there's me. We both have baby pictures with chairs, and I have had those over our bed since we were married 25 years ago. So I think that has been the same arrangement over the top of my head. That's what that is. And then all my pillows, of course. So I'm getting a little old to sit on the floor for very long, and I thought, well, why not try the bed? But now I'm seeing that I'm a little bit shaky, so I apologize. But I wanted to share my finishes from Barbara Anna. There are quite a few when I sat down and looked at it. Some of them are Christmas, and that's going to segue into my Christmas WIP. So let me start with my favorite thing I ever stitched, and that's Barbara Anna's All Creatures. I've shown it before, but it hangs year round. I found this frame at an antique store a long time ago. It was painted white. Maybe not that long ago. I have several, and I can't remember which one this was, but I know it was chalk painted white, and I used my Java stain to make it match. And then I did this on 40 count mallow, which is not 100% linen. It has a little bit of cotton in it. It was not easy. I wouldn't stitch on it again. It's very small, but I love the look of it. And it's the called for anchor threads. I did change. This is one that lots of friends have copied. And I'm happy about it. This is anchor 20 instead of the pink. It's more of a barn red, because a lot of Barbara Anna's designs, she likes pink, and pink is not my favorite. So it does have some pink in there. I love those like corally shades. There's just something about a pink barn that I wasn't vibing with. So there's All Creatures, Great and Small, 40 count, called for threads mostly, by Barbara Anna. And it took a long time, several years, but I was so glad to see it finished. I finished it in 2021, so it's been a couple of years. And then my other favorite, I've also shown a couple of times, but if you are new to my channel or if you've not been with me the whole time, I finished this one way at the beginning of Flosstube, and this is when I was only stitching on 28. In fact, this is like the third thing I ever stitched, which, gosh, I can't even fit it all the way in the frame. You can kind of tell that I was naive as to my ability, but it's, you know, still a folk art piece. It's just very large, and there are some really glaring mistakes if you look closely enough. I had some spots where I didn't, I stitched over 3, I got off on his neck. His neck is not symmetrical, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It still looks really pretty on my wall, and I used Monaco, 28 count Monaco. So it's got some funny staining on it. I used like an orange tea, and I don't love the fabric, but it works. It's good. And it has my husband and I's year 1996, the year we married, our initials, and our specific cats, which other people have done. I like to see that personalization there. That's Roxy and Gandalf, who's right here beside me. And it is a big piece, but like I said, on this 28, it's huge. And I found this frame at Goodwill and used the same stain that I have on all creatures. I don't know if you can tell, this one is a lot shinier, but it is the same color. So I don't have them in the same spot. I've actually moved this into my front room. It was by my bedroom, but I found that I just don't see it as much when it's by my bedroom. It's kind of in a dark corner, so I like having it in my front room, and it's so fall colors. I use these colors kind of as an inspiration to decorate this house, in fact. The terracottas and the greens. And oh, one important thing I changed on this, and I got this from, oh, Nicole. What is her channel called? She's so talented. She was doing this piece. I think she sold it, changed her mind, but she did not do 310 on the jacket and on the birds. I think everything on her dress, everything that looks pretty dark was charted in 310. She changed it to 3371. I thought, oh, that's a good idea. It'll be a little softer. So mine may look a little different with that change because it's a brown black instead of black black. And I think that was a good choice. But otherwise, it's all called for DMC. Okay, so here's a couple other Barbara Anna pieces that are not in the same season. Oh, before I show that, this is not a Barbara Anna piece, but I wanted to share this one before I forgot because it's November. This primitive piece is a freebie on the Primitive Hairs website, H-A-R-E, and I did this maybe 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. I don't love their skin color. They're a little oompa loompa-y, but I had this house, and this isn't what I had it on last time, but I want to find kind of a harvesty color, a little bow, and put it up there. And this was on my fall hutch. I know this leaf thread was one of Frankie's from Wicked Stepmothers, and it's, I think, Falling Leaves. She has a couple different dye lots of that, but this is a fun variegated one to use. And then this was, I think, called Nutcracker. It's a really, it looks like a homespun when you stitch it like that. So just for Thanksgiving and for your November stitching, if you do any of that. I don't do a lot, but I did have a window with a turkey and a few Thanksgiving things, so I did put this up. And that's not by Barbara Anna, but I forgot to share that. Let me go to the other Barbara Anna pieces I have, though, real quickly. This was a popular one from a Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. It's not this issue, but summer 2019, I believe. I wanted to show this one because this was a goal I had to do. A sweet subscriber sent this to me, and I want to do that squirrel in a similar stand-up. But this stand-up I converted from pink and orange. I told you Barbara Anna really likes pink, and it's super cute that way. I've seen a lot of people do it, but I used Crimson by Weeks Dye Works and Redwood by Gast, and so that makes it much more primitive. And it's a pretty color change for the strawberries. I used just some embroidery stitches there. I think I stitched this on Ada. Yeah, it's just on some tea-dyed Ada. And I used some of, oh, it's a popular brand for the trim. I can't remember I got it from Kitten Stitcher, and a rusty bell and some buttons and some wool on the back. So I know that's totally out of season, but this is just all the Barbara Anna finishes that I have that I wanted to show you. And then a fall one, I put this on different things. Sometimes I put it on a vase with some leaves in it. I didn't bring all that in here, but this is just on some cardboard with a magnet. And it's one of my earlier pieces that I did, again, from Primitive Stitcher, Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. And I don't recall, I only had a subscription for 1 year, so it's from 2019, but I believe that's the fall issue. And it's, I think, Sweeping the Garden, just a cute little mouse. And I loved those funky flowers. She always has cool color combinations. I wanted to look a little bit like a sunflower, so I put some hand-dyed pom-pom trim and then some hand-dyed fabric that I had. So kind of cute, just a little mouse. And then segueing into Christmas, this is one of my favorite finishes too, by same designer, of course, Barbara Anna. This is oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to put the name of this here because I have forgotten it, so I'll look it up. But Santa and the Dove, or the Dove and the Key. I think that's it. She has a dove. The dove has a key in her mouth. Santa to the Dove and the Key. That's what it is. Santa, the Dove, and the Key. I did this 2 years ago on Sea Lily by Witchelt. Some people don't love Witchelt fabric. It is rather stiff, but I was fine with it, especially if I used my ballpoint needle. My magnet, I was looking at this earlier. There's my camera. The magnet won't stay on this fabric. I need to fix it again, but I had this hanging on the wall, and I did do, I use E6000 and put alligator clips on the back of trays. This was a $2.50 tray from Goodwill, and I finished it to be a little bit primitive, but I know I used a white silk by Dinky Dye on that bird, and that coverage is so pretty. Ecru and Dinky Dye natural for the dove. And a little rider, Santa, just quirky and turned out so pretty. It's not very big. I think it's like 90 stitches high, but it's a little bit wider. So there's that one. I found that on Creative Poppy. I heard someone say that site is down, but I think I saw it pretty recently. So I know you can probably, I got a PDF download from Creative Poppy. That's where I got all of these, I believe, are from Creative Poppy online. So those are all of my Barbara Anna pieces that I have finished, other than one more I'm going to insert because it's in a box, kind of buried right now. I did an elf from a weird site called Cyber Stitchers. I think it's old, but there was a Barbara Anna. She has a kind of cartoony style that she does sometimes, and I did this helper elf. It has some really cute long stitches with packages from a bird's mouth. I'm hoping you can see it right now. And it had a little bit of an oops. I had it in my window. My magnets, or the glue holding my magnets, gave loose, and it fell into a pan of spaghetti that was soaking. So I used Dawn dish soap. I washed it. Some of the green dye from the fabric did get on the piece, but it was pretty well recovered. So that was kind of tragic, but like I said, it was a really early piece I did. It's a little cartoony, but it's sweet, and it's a fun Christmas one, and I do like the way I finished it on a white tin. That kind of changes out with the season. So there is one more I am not in possession of right now, but I will be getting it out here soon for Christmas. So let me get out my Christmas WIPs that I hope to do in the next couple of months, and then we'll be done. I almost forgot to announce the giveaway winners again for the Village pattern by Frankie of A Wicked Stepmother. The random number generator picked Sharon Hendricks 3864 and Nanette McDougall Dykes 9339. I know, Nanette. If you see this video, please email me. I'll put my email in the description box below, and I will return the pattern with the email so you can stitch that. Thanks for entering. Okay, I intended to have 2 of these 3 WIPs finished last Christmas, and sharing them today makes me feel a little bit embarrassed, or like, oh, you're such a loser. You know, I have these thoughts, and I think to myself, stop. It's okay to take a long time to work on a project. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop doing it. And just because I didn't finish it when I hoped, doesn't mean I'm a bad person or I'm a bad floss tuber. I hope that I can be upfront with my flaws and my challenges, and encouraging myself and you to not quit and not give up. Just because you feel like something should be done by now isn't a reason to just give up. So that being said, I have worked on this 12 Days of Christmas for several years. It's almost done. In fact, I really think I can get it done this year. Let me find something to put behind this because it's showing through. It's one of my favorite projects I've ever done. I absolutely love it. Why does it have one little piece at the top? I might be doing one sideways there, or I might have changed my mind. This is a free pattern by Paulette Stewart of Plum Street Samplery. And she has it charted on a white fabric with red and green and brown and gold, I believe. But my inspiration was Kathy from Hands On Design. She has another 12-day ornament set that's done on red fabric with some of these colors that I used. Whiskey is the gold by WIPS, one of my favorite golds. There's a really pretty green. What color? I've got them right here. That's Chives, I believe. Yeah, Chives by the Gentle Art. And then the darker reds were Manor Red and a red that I dyed myself. This dark red. Which, funny, I wouldn't think a red would show up on here, but I really like it on the red. So it's red on red, but it's dark enough that it shows up. I have all but 2 of these done. Let me see if I can show you the first page here. Here's 1 through 5. And I have some really cool fabric to put it on. I even got some charms on eBay that are silver. I'm going to paint them gold. I hope they're in here. If not, they're going to be upstairs. But I was trying to keep everything together. Nope, they're going to be upstairs. But anyway, all of these things in place. Here's the French General fabric that it's going to go on. I think it's going to be so pretty. And I'm going to use kind of a Gothic art shape and put the charm there. And then the fabric, I might make a video on the finishing of it because it's going to be a whole thing. But like I said, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't do them quite in order. I have 10 finished. So only 2 more to do. And they only take 2 or 3 days to do. Some of them are more stitch heavy than others. And I want to say, this is a free pattern, so I can show you, but I want to say, 11 and 12 are some of the most. And I don't think it's 11, 12 I have left. I think it's 10 and 12, which is odd. But yeah, that is more stitch heavy than the other ones. Did I finish? Oh, this one was really stitch heavy though, and I did finish that one. Like I said, there's really no reason this wasn't done last year. I think I don't know. I've had such a case of the boobahs with holidays and decorating. I'm just now starting to come out of that. So I'm excited to have this done. I have a really pretty pencil tree that goes in my kitchen, and it's going to fill out that tree so prettily. So prettily, is that a word? I made it a word. So I'm excited. I want to get that done. I'm excited to have it. And then the other one that I'm excited to have done, and again, a little embarrassed, but it's okay. Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. This one is so far along. I don't know why I didn't finish it. I haven't even looked at it in a long time, but I mean, the house is finished. I did that in silk. Again, the Dinky Dye silk, all of the borders done except for this corner. So this corner and the lettering. I think too, it was a little intimidating. Sorry for all the wrinkles. I was doing a hem instead of the alphabets. I'm going to put "Go Tell It on the Mountaintop." Today is the Savior's Day. Love has arrived. It's actually a Rend Collective song. It's not "Go Tell It on the Mountain." Hope is alive. Love has arrived. Today is the Savior's Day. So that's what I was going to put on there. I thought it sounded a little bit old-fashioned and speaks more to Christmas for me than just an alphabet. So again, I did this on a greenish fabric that didn't stay very green when I sort of tea dyed it, and I got a few stains on there, but I liked it that way. I wanted it to look really primitive. In fact, Stacey Nash, who is the designer, kind of soaked it in walnut shells, I think, before she stitched it. So I don't want mine quite that distressed, but I just have a few motifs. So hopefully I'll be showing you this soon. Isn't it so pretty though? It's just a really nice piece. And that house does take forever. I remember that took me for just a really long time. I didn't use all the called for colors. There's not a lot of colors, just, red and green and gold and brown. So you can kind of use what you have for that. And it's a beautiful one. The other one I want to get some work on, I don't intend to finish though, is my beautiful Christmas garden. And I'm going to put a different wording on there, something about Emmanuel has come, or Emmanuel, God with us. That's what it was. Kim and I talked about that from Contented Stitcher. I think that's what she put. Emmanuel should fit pretty nicely though. And this is my Vicki Clayton fabric, no longer sold, but if you use just an old brassy gold, I do have more than I remembered on this corner. And I'm using a conversion by Stone Street Stitchworks. I am so rusty on this. This has been a couple years, this project, but I loved it on the darker fabric, and instead of using the gold, I'm using white. So my colors, there's not a lot of them, there's just a few colors, are Caper, which I used on a blackboard by Brenda Gervais, and it was like a chalkboard on a little garden lady, and I was like, that's a really cool green. Actually, it was used for a black, but I like it as a green. It kind of matches my fingernails today. And then I made this red myself with a whole bunch of red my great aunt sent me. I call it Aunt Ruth red. And then I'm using 3371 and Old Hickory for the gold. I had to go a little darker. I think I tried like 3 or 4 different colors to get that. And it's not a one-to-one, like I'm not using every spot that was the fool's gold, or is that what's charted? Yeah, fool's gold is a variegated silver gold. I'm not putting white in every spot that's called for fool's gold. Sometimes I'm using that dark gold, like the Christmas tree topper. I didn't want the Christmas tree topper to be white. So I'm kind of just making some judgment calls. That does take a little longer, but for the most part, it's a pretty simple pattern. And it's so beautiful. So I want to get more work done on that. I always start in the bottom left-hand corner. So you might see other people have different progress. They always seem to start in the upper, and I start in the lower. So, and this bag is so pretty. My dad made that for me. I shared that for Christmas. My dad was a parachute rigger, so he makes beautiful project bags. Prettier than mine. I think that is all I had to share. Oh, I had one other book that I wanted to share really quickly before the season is over. If you can find these Susan Branch books on eBay or in used bookstores, I got one at Goodwill once. They are so fun to look through. They have lots of different recipes, like for hors d'oeuvres. I find it's very, this sounds funny, but I find that it's very East Coast focused. She does come from the East Coast, and a lot of these foods I've never eaten. Growing up in Kansas and Texas, like we don't have a lot of seafood, not fresh. Maybe Houston does, but not where I'm from. And then just the ways she puts foods together, it's very interesting to read about. So if you're from the East Coast, it might be more your speed, but these are old. Like I said, you can find them on the secondary market. I want to say, goodness, probably the 80s, 90s. Oh, this is 2004. They sort of read a little bit older, but the artwork is so beautiful. She's always been one of my favorite artists. There's even some cross stitches of hers, Susan Branch. I've seen a few people do some beautiful cross stitch pieces from her. But if you happen to look for Susan Branch on eBay, or if you find them at Goodwill, pick these up. They're so pretty. And you can also find them on Amazon from time to time. So that's the book that I had to share, and the progress I've made, be it ever so small. I didn't want to let so much time go before videos. So again, as I say at the end of all of my videos, may the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands. That's in the book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 17. Thanks for spending time with me today. Take care.